a little sideways because I probably wasn't level where I was sitting. All right, I just did a GPS lock. Let's see if it tries to if it stays. Now it's only going to be as accurate as the GPS is, but I can come over here now.
Pretty good though.
Pretty quiet too.
Yeah, very. The drone's louder than that thing.
Now, let's see. What I want to do is I want to lock. All right, see, I just told it to lock, so now it's on horizontal. I turned the GPS off, and I'm on orientation lock. Mm-hmm. So if I spin it, it still goes that way. Now this guy, as big as he is and the size of those props, he's like a bull in a china shop. All right, so what I want to do is let's bring it back over here, about right here, and let's lock the GPS in, and now let's go. I don't like doing this unless I can lock the GPS, because it gets really hard to figure out what the hell it's doing when it gets up there. I got some really cool videos from being up there.
For the descent then, what do you just go by throttle position?
Yeah.
And what do you do to make it do altitude hold then?
It does altitude hold whenever your throttle's in center. Oh. So let's bring it down to about right here, and I'm going to move.
Spring loaded?
No. Whereas this guy, that probably would be a handy thing, but I've gotten so used to the helicopter stuff that I kind of like the free thing. So it's neutral, and if you can see the LED, I think when it's in neutral, the orange light doesn't blink anymore. Oh, okay. So that's why there should be nothing blinking on the thing. So it should stay at that altitude. Now, that said, if I start moving it around, it may have a hard time, but there's an altitude gain control where you can tune it to your craft, so that as you move around, you don't want it to gain altitude or lose altitude, and that's a tuning option. All right, so now let's bring it down and fly it a little bit. Get it away from this tree. And take it off the GPS. All right.
It's facing away from us now?
Yeah, now I have it facing away. Yeah. That's why you want to use different colored props. All right, so if I put it on hold, now if I fly it, it should hold wherever I put it. Mm-hmm. Okay, it still knows that the home position, so it really keeps track of two things. The home position, that's where it started up, and you can change that. I can flip the switch and I can change it. So if I did have it set to come home, it would actually come home from there. But so now if I fly over here, it should hold over here. As well as GPS can. I mean, so if you're within probably 3 feet. So you want to try this guy just a little bit? Yeah, it's anytime the throttle is off 0, it times. So I can time my fly. I keep it at 6 because most of these guys with the 2200 battery gets about 6 minutes. But see, the lopsided has to do with if you want a nice level spot when you power it up, and that. So if you power it up like this, I think it would literally fly like that.
Yeah, probably. So what does the thing hanging off the bottom then? What will that do? Will those all turn red when?
Whatever cell. If one cell starts to get below 3.6 volts or something like that, it'll turn. But if they drop too far, it'll start beeping, and that's when you want to start heading towards the ground.
So you have it configured So left and right is actually rolling the two opposite side. It looks like it rocks on the corners when I go left and right.
Well, it depends on your orientation. Turn it a little bit. Use the rudder and turn it and do it.
So, yeah.
Now do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because keep in mind, I got orientation set so that that's forward all the time. But you can see with the carefree mode, it gives you a little chance to really play with your craft. If you want to do sport flying, there's a manual mode these things will go into that you can use that, but I never use it. I have KK2 boards if I want to do that, not a $500 freaking NASA. Now you'll see when you fly the little one, it's a little more, it's a little more agile, a little noisier. It's because it's a smaller copter.
Yeah, this is much quieter than my drone is. That thing whines like crazy when it flies.
It also comes down to how much time you spend on your props. You know, every prop that goes on do you balance the props going on your AR?
No.
Yeah, I guarantee you those things are out of balance, man.
I tell you, I've never had one off of it. I haven't broken one yet.
Manufacturers, I have never tested a prop that wasn't out of balance. And a good balanced prop means everything works better. See, we're getting some really good flight time. It's been over almost 11 minutes. Don't go too far out. It's probably going to be any time now. Can't believe it. I guess last time the battery wasn't that fresh. You'll see those babies start to flash, though. It's 11 minutes. Wow. 11 freaking minutes.
Do you normally tax it harder than this when you're flying it? Do you normally...
I've actually, by putting the telemetry on it, I found that unless you're doing really fast altitude descents, normal flying around and stuff doesn't really eat that much, because all it does is it'll increase one prop and decrease another. So, all right, I just want to slowly bring her down and then kill it. So we got 11.5 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, so this is actually my baby right now. The rest are just stepchildren. These motors aren't even warm, so there's just nothing is being taxed at all. So she's got room for either bigger props and more payload. I mean, I run a GoPro on here and some other stuff, and there's plenty of weight. This is with the battery. This guy's I don't know, I can't remember. We'll measure when we go in, but that's some weight right there. So but that's also the weight is why it's so stable and smooth too, and it's wind is not going to affect it as much.
Will that battery monitor start